I think she's wanted in 2 or 3 states. Hello everybody, welcome back to burntchurch. I hope everybody's having a good day. We've had a pretty good day here today. Our daughter's been over here. She's gone home now. It's about 4 o'clock in the evening, and me and my wife's gonna put up some potatoes. Stick around, you might be amazed by how easy this is. Anybody with a canner can do this recipe. If you've never tried canning potatoes before, watch this video. It's pretty simple, but do your own research before you try to do this. Don't just take my word for it, because I'm not a professional. Now this is going to be a real short video. I've had some requests wanting to know how we put up our red potatoes. Well, I call them red potatoes. They're a white potato. They're a red Pontiac variety. So I thought I would bring you along. This will be just a few short steps and show you how we do ours. Now this is not a tutorial. This is just how we do it. So the first thing we do here, my wife is cleaning the potatoes. We've got them washed off pretty clean in this bucket, and then she'll scrub them and put them over in this water here, and I'll rinse them off in here, and then we'll peel them and put them over into this pan of water. That pan of water, after you peel them, it helps keep them from turning brown. So that's what we're doing right now. I'll show you our next process. So you see these potatoes right here, it's got these spots in them. That's not really a bad potato. You can cut right below that spot and they'll still be perfectly fine. What that is where crickets has chewed on them while they were in the ground. Crickets love to get a hold of potatoes. You can see over here, our potatoes look perfectly fine after we peel them and cut these bad spots out. So if you're buying potatoes from a farmer that don't use a lot of spray, you may see these spots on your potatoes, but don't think that they're ruined. Just cut the spots out of them and they'll be perfectly fine. So we're out here in the shop kitchen doing this, and it's kind of warm if you can't tell. I'm sweating a little bit. I'll show you our setup here that we have. Here's our washed and clean potatoes. Then we got our tool cart set up here to pack our jars in. And then over here is our canner, our hot water, and our bands. So the way we do this is in a quart jar, we'll put 1 teaspoon of salt. We put it in the bottom. And then we pack the jar full of potatoes and put hot water in them. And then they'll go into the canner for 40 minutes at 11-pound pressure. So right here she's putting them in the jar. Now it's a hot jar. The potatoes is just in cold water though. We've done got the salt in the bottom of the jar. Now then, we're going to get some of this hot water. We'll ladle this hot water over it. I'm going to leave about right at 1 inch head space. You can see it down here coming up. I need just a little bit more. Now she'll run that debubbler in it, and if I need to add a little more water, I can. And it looks like I'm gonna have to. It looks like it went down there whenever she debubbled it. You can see the air bubbles coming up. This tool cart works out good. You can work on vehicles, you can can food on it, whatever you want to do. So now then, we're going to add just a little more water. All right. She's going to clean it off with that vinegar rag. We're ready for a band and a lid, or a lid and a band. put them on finger tight. Now we just got to fill all the rest of them up and we'll be ready to start canning. We're locked down there. It just now sealed off. We're going to be trying to get up to 11 pounds. It'll take it a couple minutes to get up there. And then I'll have to try to adjust the heat to keep it there. That's the hard part for me. So potatoes is one of the easier vegetables that we can around here. So right here is what you'll wind up with once you get through processing them. We've got a quart of good potatoes there. I opened up the canner a little too soon. You're better off if you leave your canner closed until it completely cools off. And I didn't do that, and it messed up 2 of our jars. They boiled out the top. But I didn't try to recant them. I just put the lid on them and put them in the refrigerator. And we'll use those 2 jars before we use any of the rest. I think they'll stay good in that refrigerator for a while, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. I've had people to ask me, why do you preserve your own food? You can buy it so much cheaper. Well, what we preserve here tastes a whole lot better to me than what you buy. And you know where it comes from. Just like these potatoes that I showed that had the bug bites in them. That tells me that they've never been sprayed. And food that hadn't been sprayed, in my opinion, is a lot better for you than food that has been sprayed with all kinds of chemicals. So I told you that potatoes are easy. Well, you seen there, they're not that bad. The hardest part about the potatoes, or in our opinion, is the peeling them and getting them ready. Now you can them with skins on, but I don't like these red potatoes. Now a white potato that we raise, some of them has a lot slicker skin on them, and sometimes we will scrub them and can them with the skin on there, and we've had good luck like that. Now I'm not telling you to try it, because you can get bacteria from the soil that you've grown them in. Is one reason that a lot of people don't can them with the skins on. But now we've took the chance several times with the white potatoes, and we've never had any problem. But with these red potatoes, I showed you some of them bug bites and stuff there on them. Well, bacteria can get inside of those spots there where the crickets and the worms has eat on them. And if you don't peel that off, you stand a chance of sealing it up in your jar. A lot of those bites on potatoes come from crickets. And I'll tell you a short story on how I know that. When I was young, just in high school, growing up, getting my driver's license, I worked at a cricket ranch. They raised crickets there. Well, that's what we fed the crickets, was cut up potatoes. And when I dig our potatoes, there's usually crickets all over the ground under there. So a lot of that is just where crickets has chewed on them. Especially the potatoes that gets pushed up to the top of the soil, that's not down under the soil good. Those up on top are especially done by crickets. This perfect looking food that you see in the grocery store usually is sprayed with all kinds of chemicals. Now a lot of people has no other choice but to eat that. And if I'm going to eat that grocery store food, I'm going to try my best to at least peel the peelings off of it. These potatoes that we raise, I don't care a bit to eat the peeling and all on those, because I know where they come from and I know what's been on them. Nothing. But as far as these people that's against farming, that's wanting to start eating cricket burgers, Bill Gates is one in general that I can think of right now off the top of my head that wants to have cricket burgers and stuff for us anyway. They still want to eat their steaks and their lobsters, but for us, they want us to eat crickets and stop farming. Well, if they stop farming, they're not going to have anything to feed their crickets, because those crickets, they eat potatoes. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. We had fun making it. I'm trying to get my wife involved in doing these videos more and more. I don't know. I may have to start an online petition. Because we do a lot here together. But she just doesn't want to be on video. I think she's wanted in 2 or 3 states, and she's afraid that the officials will see her on here. and might come get her. I pray God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one.